Pharmacy Scholars Initiative, and we're a forum of top-notch professionals with common interest in research and career development. We were founded in 2017, and we are actually duly registered with the federal government of Nigeria. We do organize weekly webinar series where we share and disseminate knowledge, and also, share knowledge and experiences between us and also between the larger society. So this is one of such, and it is still part of what we do: research mentorship, career development, research collaboration, community engagement, and also professional development. So in today's webinar, we will actually be discussing about writing an academic CV. And as we have mentioned, we're going to record this webinar and also share with the general public to disseminate knowledge. And also, if you are participating live now, you can drop your name and your email address in the comments section so that you will get a copy of your certificates. So you can also provide feedback to us. Our email is farmscholarsinitiative@gmail.com. So without taking too much time, we will jump into the program. But before then, our speaker, who is supposed to give us address of welcome, is not on board. So I will do that for now, and then we proceed. So formally, I'm glad that I am addressing you scholars, ladies and gentlemen who I know are academic superheroes and also writing warriors. I want to welcome you, and also welcome you again to this webinar series, as it promises to decode the mystery in the world of academic CVs. I also want to assure you that the presenter that is facilitating this is someone who is going to, inspire you more than what caffeine would have done to you if you drink it actually. And let me be honest, writing an academic CV sometimes feel like deciphering some ancient sins. You need to know some impressive sounding terms. You need to know how to, lay it down in terms of the flow, how to show your strengths, and how to position your qualifications, your strengths, and your experiences. I will advise that you fear not, because Dr. Jatau is here to debunk CV myths, and then I'm sure by the end of this session, you will be confident. You will laugh at the previous formatting errors you've made, and you will unmask uh, every aspect of academic CV writing, and you will see that those that are achieving actually know some things that not everyone does. So whether previously you used to master bullet points, or you have to,
wani mutum mai jiki mai ala kuma tana da jiki sosai ta yi sabis a ta yi sabis kuma ta yi.
Yes, muted. All right.
Sorry about that. So all what I'm saying is that a well-crafted CV is like a masterpiece you've been hiding in your notebook. So it is actually time to bring it out and to shine. And trust me, by the end of this series, your CV will look so good that every employer will love to have you on his team. So I will suggest you pay attention, you grab your notepad, and you become ready to receive this lecture. So without wasting time, we are going to dive in and discover some of the myths and also the magical world of academic CV writing. I can promise that there won't be any, big mysteries here, just lots of tips, tricks, and also the expertise that we hope to learn from Dr. Jatau. So finally, welcome everyone to this webinar series, and I want to welcome our facilitator, Dr. Ibrahim Jatau, to take on the floor and move on. Sir, you're welcome.
I don't even know where to start with all this your background information. Anyway, I welcome everyone to this discussion because I prefer to call it a discussion because it is more of like an exchange of knowledge. I'll learn from you. You guys will also learn from me. So today we are going to look at an academic CV. As we all know, we are all scholars or not even scholars. As long as you finish school, so the next thing that you come to your mind is to either to proceed on, especially when you finish your first degree, the first thing that comes to your mind is either to go and look for a job or to proceed on your career. That means to go and do masters, or for those that did masters, you want to go and do PhD. So on that transition, you really need a tool that will make you that will ask or that will allow the employer to select you. So that tool is what you are talking about. That's CV. So CV, given it is important, it is something that we really need to pay attention to know how to write it, because it is a document that will represent you. So if it is poorly prepared, definitely it is highly unlikely you'll get the job or the position you are trying to do. So this is part of the webinar series for the Pharmacy Scholars Initiative. And yeah, so in our today's webinar, this is the brief outline of what we are trying to look today. Number one is curriculum vitae, that is CV. It will tell us about what CV is and the types of CV. And then from there, we'll migrate to academic CV. That's the topic of today. And then we'll now look at the structure of the CV and like how you are going to draft the CV. And then there are some things that we don't want you to do while you're writing your CV, because it is just like you are trying to, you don't want to put something on your face that you don't want others to see. So now that's the topic of today, CV. What is a curriculum vitae, or the short form is CV? Before going into the main discussion or the main presentation, I would like to share a video just to see what people's opinion or people's understanding of the word CV. So just give me some few minutes and have this.
We cannot hear the sound of the video.
Sorry, sir?
We can't hear the sound of the video. I'm not sure whether it's me alone.
Oh my goodness. Okay. 1 minute. I think I can fix it.
My name is Akrisi from District. What's your name?
6-2.
6-2. Nice to meet you. What's the full meaning of CV?
You can hear it now?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. All right. Jesus, go ahead.
Credential vitae.
Echo.
Credential vitae.
Now, person born this man, oh, I dey tell you.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It's okay. Go and sit down. What's the full meaning of CV?
CV. Oh yeah, mi ò mọ̀ yẹn o, mi ò lọ school, mi ò mọ̀ o.
Your brain is dullard. What's the full meaning of CV?
CV. No idea. I don't know.
Think. I think you have an idea, but probably you forgot. Think about it. Is that
Credential.
okay? Credential what?
Verification.
No. What's the full meaning of CV? You are getting it.
Credential verification.
Hey! Number one offense.
Nonsense.
What's the full meaning of CV?
CV, credential, curriculum vitae.
Hey! Come again. Sorry?
Curriculum vitae.
Can you spell the vital?
VITAE.
Thank you for the word so sweet.
What's the full meaning of CV?
Curriculum vitae, like CV.
Take it easy, pal. Sorry? Can you speak louder?
Curriculum vitae.
Very good.
Can you spell that vital?
VITAL.
Hi! When you cry, what you're saying, does it make sense to you?
What's the full meaning of CV?
Curriculum vitae.
That is impossible.
You said what?
Curriculum vitae.
Thank you.
Can you spell that vitae?
VITAE.
What's the full meaning of CV?
Curriculum vitae.
Come on, stop that rubbish.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So this is the people's understanding of the word CV. So
my name is Akrisi from District TV. What's the name?
So in our own context, let's see what CV is. This is what people understand it. And then for our own, let's see what a CV is. And I'm very sure this participant, many of us may have different view about what a CV is. Anyway, so initially the word CV comes from a Latin phrase, meaning the course of your life. So like literally it means like a summary of your career, of your life. So it is an important document that describes a person's educational background, professional history, research project and publication. That is if you're in the academia, and that's why what we are discussing today. And then work experiences, achievement and awards. So a CV is a communication tool, meaning it is something that you use to communicate who you are to the person employing you or to the person giving you a particular position. For example, if you are seeking for a PhD, and it is a marketing tool. So marketing tool means like it's like the document is representing you, meaning so you need to really package yourself in that document to really tell that person that yes, you are competent, you are ready, and you can do what that position is asking you to do. So it is something like if you are selling a car, somebody has a very old car, no painting, no mirrors, and then the one that has a very clean car with a clean painting and everything is in place. Or possibly when you are assuming if you're in Nigeria, if you are going to Abuja, let's assume that Abuja is a job you are seeking. So when you go to the park, if you don't have a car, I'm very sure you are looking for a very clean car that will take you to Abuja very safely. And I'm very sure you can't go and enter a car with a bad tire, with bad painting. We know that definitely this car, even if you take you to Abuja, you may probably suffer on the road. So that's exactly how a CV is. So you need to write something, you need to have a CV that will really show who you are, will really package you, will really say something nicely, will really attract the attention of the employer to give you attention and to employ you or to give you that position. And it is also the first chance for any job for a good opportunity because that's the first thing that you are to present while you are looking for a job. And that's for the standard. What I'm saying is this is what is obtainable in most places or worldwide. And it's also used for job applications, like I mentioned before. And it's used for if you're looking for scholarship like PhD and masters, sometimes for first degree. And for those who have finished PhD, it can also use it as a postdoc. And for our brothers who are in the academia, you can use it for promotion. And also sometimes if you want to apply for grant application, and like if you are seeking for migration to some countries like US, New Zealand, Canada, Australia, so some of the visa require you to submit a CV. So that means they want to know who you are in that CV. So given this importance, we really need to pay attention to what we write in the CV. So I think this question, let me just give the this before, and definitely people might ask me, so how does a CV differ from a resume? So it is quite like a similar. It is the same document saying the same thing. The only difference, it depends on where you came from, maybe the country and the organization you're applying it to. So like in countries like Americans, they call it resume. So and Europeans call it a CV. But if you come to Australia, they use it interchangeably. Some organizations use CV, some use resume. But in general, like here, well, where we came from, like in Nigeria, I think mostly we use a CV. So, but the line, the bottom line difference is when they ask of CV, in most cases, it is more of a detail than a resume. Resume is mostly 2 pages or 1 page. But if somebody asks you a CV, if you don't indicate the number of pages, then he asks you to write as many pages and many detailed information as possible. So now talking about CV. We might also want to say, okay, so how many types of CV do we have? Yeah, so there are so many types of CV we have, like in any other document. That is what you call a chronological. And this chronological, it's like you arrange your experiences and your professional objectives in chronological order. Chronological order, like you say, okay, my experiences in 2023, 2022, 21, 20, like reverse chronology. And then it's normally focused on professional objectives and experiences. And it is mostly more of the relevant qualification of the job. So maybe they're advertising a particular job, you might not have to bring job that you did in 1982 or 1983. You give the ones that is most likely in 20 years. But this one is mostly applied for so many roles. And another one is functional. This is like a skills-based CV. This is mostly for people who did like vocational services. So this is focused on the skills you have, like my guys in IT sections. They have all these IT skills in cloud computing, all those things. And it's also based on accomplishment. And it's mostly suitable if you have like an extended gaps in employment or changing career. Like assuming if you are in academia and then after some years, then something's happening in academia and then you now switch into maybe go back to the market and do your business. So maybe 2 years in between, you now decided to come back to the academia to continue. So that 2 years is what you call professional gap or working gap. So if you want to apply for a job and you have that gap of professional experience, so mostly you can use this functional CV. What you do, you just focus on your skills and accomplishments. You don't have to bother about the years that you did and so on. And then there's the third one is you combine the two. You combine the chronological and functional in a CV, like to incorporate elements of chronological and functional CV formats, like to focus on the skills and your previous job experience. And this one is if you have like an extensive professional history with notable skills and accomplishment, then you combine these two. A good example is the moderator, Kabiru Gulma, is someone who has extensive professional history, academic history, and a lot of things. So this is a very good thing for him. And then the next, and that's what we are talking about now, is the academic CV. So academic CV is more of academic credential. That's where you are allowed to present or to describe your academic credential very extensively. In most cases, it doesn't even have a minimum number of pages, but it depends on the institution. You can write as many pages as possible. And it's mostly focused on qualification and academic research experience. So this is mostly for graduate degrees, assuming somebody who finished BPharm or any degree and want to proceed or to maybe seek for MSc scholarship or want to go and look for an academic job or maybe in science or in medical areas. This is the CV for him. And then like that, if you're pursuing a higher career in the academic or sciences, or maybe when you're seeking for postgraduate scholarships, including postgraduate, also including postdocs, and also used for grant application, fellowship, or maybe even within the university, you can use it for promotion and for a lot of things once you are in the academy. So all this CV that we are describing, now, what is the structure of this academic CV? If I am in this field or this CV is meant for me, how do I write it? How do I see it? Because I know most of us, we just write the CV like plain writing, or somebody has done it, give me your CV, let me see the format and let me write it without taking into consideration a lot of things that we have and are supposed to be in that CV and we lost them. That's number one. And number two, like the two people we have, one like Mr. A, we have so much experience, so many academic qualifications, a lot of things he has. And the other one, he has very little or even very small qualification and maybe contribution to the particular job they are applying. But most likely Mr. B will package those qualifications, those experiences in a very nice way and a very nice language. And that Mr. A was just thinking like, okay, I know it, I have this. He just write it haphazardly, thinking like the reader or the employer will understand what he means. It's highly likely that Mr. B will get the job. And that's exactly what is happening with most of our brothers in the Middle East, all these Indians, Pakistanis, and all these Nepalese. Most of them, to be honest, they really pay much attention. In fact, most of them even pay some organization to write a CV for them. They don't do it just like that. So what you write in the CV, how you arrange it, really, really matters. So let's see, in this webinar, I will show you a little how we can package the little we have and to get the job we want. So these are the basic structure of an academic CV. So I will just list out these structures, and then I will now pick the most important among them to show you how you need to write it, the tone of the language. And at the end of this webinar, we'll share including the lecture materials. I'll also share you a template for the CV, the template that you will use when you are doing your own CV. That's what you use to arrange it. We hope that if you follow it, you'll get the dream job. All right, so in an academic CV, it should have like a contact details, a career profile, educational or academic qualifications, your employment history, then the publication you need. This is optional. I'm very sure not all of us have this. And then the conference or talks presentation you give, and the fellowship grants. Also, this one is not for everyone. Then if you have any postgraduate research that you supervise, yeah, and then teaching experience, editorial roles, I'll explain this much later, and staff development and training, licenses and certifications, professional association you belong, skills and research interest. Like I said, I'll have time to discuss about this in much details. And we have community service development, additional information like about me. I'll say something about this at the end, and a quote from an expert in the field. Referee, most people doesn't like to write referee in their CV. So let's take them by one. All right, so the first and the most important thing is your contact information. I'm very much sure most of us from Nigeria, the first thing that we normally write on our CV is top, we write curriculum vitae. They will now write name, Kabiru Gulma, sex, male, date of birth, 1977. You know, we don't write all those Islamic religion, Islam. You understand? Country, town, Kano. So all those things, to be honest, it is not very important. So you don't need to write all those set of things. They can even so what you need to write, and that's like widely acceptable, is in the first page, you just write this name like Kabir. I just use Kabiru Gulma as an example. So you can write Kabiru Gulma. You can write to put farm if you're a pharmacist, Dr. Gulma if you're a doctor, wherever. Then you can put your affiliation, MSc, PhD if you want. And then second is followed by your address. You can put your house address, but to be honest, let me just be frank with you. If you're looking for a big position, and if you're a village man like me, you can't just put Quenya like in your address, because you need to package yourself. You need to, you know, put something that will tell the guy applying it, okay, this guy, you know. So you need, if you are working in a particular place, put that institutional address. Or if you have a brother in a particular, maybe in a particular big city that is popular, use his address. I think that's one of the tricks that, but don't put one village name, to be honest, because this is the marketing tool, you're marketing yourself. So you put the address, like as you see it, if you can, you don't have to go in detail with street name, with, you understand, very clean. Put the country, then your phone number. Don't mind if you're writing is abroad, like if you're seeking for a scholarship in another country. Don't forget the code. For Nigeria now is +234. So I'm just using an Australian number plus this one, just as international code for your country. Then use your active email address, please. Active email address. Don't put an email address that you hardly check. If you're using like an organizational email address, and if you know it is very active, I'll advise you to use it. Like .ng, .abu, .puk, or .edu. I'll prefer, because the employer or the guy giving you the PhD scholarship, yeah, it looks like, okay, this guy is serious. But nobody, you can't as well. I use the two. I use my professional, I use my personal email address, and I use my institutional email address. You can use the two at the same time. You can use one. Make sure that the one you are using is very active, the one you are checking almost all the time. And also, once you submit the CV, be making sure that you are checking your spam folder to be sure that in case if the email went straight that place. Then, as an academic, most probably you may have is a Google Scholar or ResearchGate. So you need to, it's optional, it's not must, but some people advise that you need to put that scholarly profile. And it's not that you just put the profile, you just copy the link and you paste it. The whole line is the link. What we advise to do is to put it on like an insert link. Maybe when you finish, just go to Google and say how to insert link on Words, Microsoft Words. So it will show you how you can copy a link and you paste it, or you insert it into the, so that it will just show scholarly profile or Google Scholar. But if you hover the mouse, it will show like a hand, like this is a hyperlink on it. Like this, if you see, this is like a hyperlink. If you can see, it showed a hand, that means there's a link on it. This one is just a pointer. So this is what we only need in the contact information. Then additionally, for some people from Americans, and which I used it, is I normally attach my signature here. So I normally attach my signature, and then here I will now write this CV is correct as of, I now write the date I'm sending the CV. So I'll now say the CV or the information in this CV is correct as of this. 23 October 2023. Then I now put my signature. It's just to add something, like if 10 of you are applying for the particular position, let that your CV stand out among the others. That's the purpose, is for you to be picked. So the next one is your career profile. This is just a summary of who you are or what the content of the CV is. And this is just like an abstract of a paper. So the abstract gives the reader a summary of what is expected to see. So I'm just giving this an example. This is from one of the recent job I applied. And this one, it shouldn't be one for all the application you are making. You have to make it for each application you are applying. You have to go to the job description of the application to see the skills you have that tally with that. Then you now compose it. What I write here is I'm a certified researcher. Yes, I am. A public health administrator and a registered pharmacist with vast experience in epidemiological research and public health programs. Tell them, and it has to be like maximum 3 words or 3 sentences. I have an outstanding disease surveillance and reporting record with excellent communication skills and scientific publication in leading journals worldwide. I coordinated the successful implementation of an international public health program, DSI. So I'm just telling the reader who I am and what he expected to see in my CV. So all what you are writing, it has to relate to this. So after writing this, it will now give the reader, oh, this guy is good. Let me read. You now prompt him to go ahead. So the next is, it depends on how you arrange it. But I normally put my education and academic qualification. In this case, you need to start with the period, like from which date to which date that program you are presenting. Assume if you did a B Pharm, or the degree, you have to mention the university. Don't forget the country if you are sending it to outside the country. An example here is, maybe I just use, this is just an example, March 2000 to January 2005. B Pharm, you need to keep a space in between. B Pharm, that's the qualification or the academic degree. Then Ahmadu Bello University Zaria. Then the next one, maybe you start with your PhD or master's. Then you now go, you don't need to mention your secondary school here. to be honest. But it depends on if you have only degree and you want to apply for a post in Nigeria, yes, you can apply, but you don't have to mention secondary school, primary school. It's not very necessary. Yes. So this is academic qualification. So you mentioned all the academic qualification that you have. And for those who did like a foreign exams, like conversion exams, maybe if you did for your pharmacy, you did it in India and you came to Nigeria to practice. I know we have to do the conversion exams. So you put the conversion exam, maybe Nigerian Pharmacy Council Pharmacy Conversion Exam 2000, and you now write the center you did the exam. Yeah, so after education, the next is your employment or academic career. So in this, you need to write, you have to mention the role that you did, maybe academic staff, or a PhD candidate, or a postdoc candidate. Then you list the duration, okay, from 2009 to 2011. Then list the work experience that you did in reverse chronological order. So then okay, the duties, the key duties are responsibility of the role and achievement. And I just picked this an example from my master's degree in University Sultan Zainal Abidin. So I now put primary investigator, MSc project. So University Sultan Zainal Abidin, that's the Union of the University. Terengganu, that's the address. Malaysia, that's the country. Put the address, the link. Then from this to this, I mean, from 2003, 14, 2015. Then I just pick one of the description. So what is that? It's assessing drug-related emergency visit at the trauma center, Hospital of Science Malaya, leading to detection of. You want to show your achievement. You want assessing drug-related, that's what I did. And the place is there. And what we achieved. So we achieved the detection of this. So you just summarize a little of what you did, one that will grab the attention of the guy, of anybody who is reading it. So that's the same thing that you do for any job you did. This is employment or academic career. The next is publication. This is optional, it's not compulsory. If you have not published anything, you don't have to write this. But if you finish your, we were told that if you finish your undergraduate degree and you definitely did your project, that project might be published or might not be published, but at least you can write it here. You don't have to mention the journal or anything. So you can mention it here. Okay, your research project, this. In that case, you can even mention the name of the supervisor if he's very internationally sound. So what you need to write in the list of your publication records, you need to list all the published papers. And if there's any paper that's accepted, not published, you can also put it. Some people even write like ongoing research. If you're doing the research and you have not yet published it or you have not yet submitted it, you can write the title of the research. You can now say ongoing. I have it in my CV. And then if you have any book publication that you did, you can as well, if you maybe write a particular chapter in a book, or you publish the book completely yourself, then you can mention it here. So what is supposed to be, hello? Can I continue? All right. So
yes,
what needs to be written here is you need to list all your published papers here. Then you need to add your Google Scholar in case if the recruiter wants to access. This is a very sensitive area. So if you want to confirm it, so you need to give him a link where he can really access and confirm. Then you have to also list it in like a reverse chronological order, like starting from the latest to the oldest. So the reason why I put this one, this is like an additional example to show you how you can package this section, not just list your publication. So if you write, you need to be like a professional. Like how many papers? 10 papers between this and this. And if you can check your Google Scholar, you can mention the citations. you can write 30 citation as of, because citation can change from this morning to tonight. The number can change. You can write the date, that this as of this date, because maybe when you send the CV, they might check it like one month after. So this number has increased. To just show him that this is the number as the time you are sending him. And then you need to write some collaborators. How you know collaborate? Maybe all your co-authors, if there are some from other countries, please just mention the country. Just mention, like, just an example. Collaborators for UK, Nigeria. It's just to tell the recruiter that this guy is an international figure. And then this is like the Google Scholar. You can just put the hyperlink on that word Google Scholar, so that once you click it, it will just take you to that your Google Scholar profile, where someone can see detail about your publication and the number of citations. And this is how I do it. And this is one of, and I know so many people who also do this. You can write the number, the date. This is the date of publication, the date the article was published. And then you can write 2003 publication or 2010, 2000, like that. Then you can now put the citation or the referencing. Gulman, Hafsan, CD, et al., writing journal. And so then you now list them down. And sometimes you can write with 40 or 51, 50, then down, or number 10, 9, 8, like that. It's up to you. So after this publication records, then the next you need to do is then conference, because as an academia, it is teaching, research, and also communicating your scientific findings through conference, seminars. So this is where you need to mention them, because this is something that you contributed to the scientific community. So you list any conferences, seminar, and lectures you are presenting in, and this could be a paper or a poster presentation, and you need to indicate the name of the conference, the place, date, and the title of the presentation. And this is how I used to present mine, so that it will make it very, very clean, easy to read. You understand? Like, this is the number of the conference, number one, date is there, the date the conference held. Sometimes you can put the full date, because conference is mostly full dates. So you can now put the title, like African Regional Interest Group Virtual Meeting, name of the place, Zaria, Kaduna, Nigeria. Don't forget to mention the country. And then the title is how to write academic CV. This is just like it. And then here you write the summary, 5 conferences as of, or because you may attend another one next week. So this is how this one in yellow is just to show you how you need to package it. It's up to you how you do it, but this is what most of people do it. And this is how we were taught how to present it. And then, so for fellowship, this is when you are already in the academia, like for academic lecturers who, or like me, I'm not in the academia, but I've won some academic and some research grants. So you need to mention them in your CV. And what you normally need to do is to name of the institution. Like I had it when I was in the University of Tasmania. So you put the title, the date, the grants, the date the grants was received, the granting body, in my own case, is Tasmanian Community Fund, and then the project you're working on, then your supervisor, the grant number, and the amount awarded. In Nigeria, I think we also won a grant for one of our public health project, and it's on my CV. So this is this. And then if you are in the academia and then you supervise a student, maybe undergraduate student or a master student or a PhD student, you need to mention it. You need to mention the students, then the project, the title of the project or the course. The name is not always encouraged to put the name, but you can put his number, his university number, and it's all optional. Then you can put the project title, and that's it. It's just to show the reader that, okay, you are able to mentor somebody, you can impart knowledge. And then, and we also know in the academia, it's also about teaching. So you can also mention that you can describe the teaching experience you have. discuss the curriculum development. Maybe if the course you are teaching, you are part of the developing that curriculum. So you also need to mention it. And then other ones, because of time, I just have to mention them here. Like editorial role, if you're in the academia and you participate in reviewing some academic journals, so you need to mention, okay, you're a reviewer of +1 journal and you reviewed 10 articles. You don't have to mention the articles. And for a reviewer, in most cases, there's what you call Publius Academy, where you can go and register. So when you register with Publius Academy, then you can do some courses. When you do the courses, you can become a professional reviewer. So any paper you review, you can upload it to that platform. So if you mention your editorial role, you can put the link so that that person, it can click that link, it will take him to that Publius Academy profile where he can see the papers you reviewed. And then, or if you're an editor of a particular journal, you can put it there. And then there's what you call community service. Maybe if you're in the university and you participated in maybe investigating examinations, or you are part in a particular committee, or a lot of things, or even if you're not even in the academia, maybe you are in your community, you participated in so many community development. You need to mention it just to show that, okay, you like some leadership things, or you like something like you can commit to the society or to the community. And also here you can also write if you participate, or you are a leader of a particular association, you can put it here. Some put it community service and leadership. So you can put you are the president of Pharmacy Scholars, or you are the president of Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, or Pharmacy, or PANS, ABU, you can put it here. And then there's what we call staff development or training. I'm very sure we undergo some training in our respected institutions, or even by our own, we paid some money to do some training online. So you can mention them here. So you have training on academic writing skills, blah, blah, blah. You attended some report writing organized by PSI on 20th August 2001. All those things, you arrange them here. Name the title of the organization organizing the training, to the venue, and the topic of what you learned. So that's it. And then for license, if you're a pharmacist, a medical doctor, if you're a professional, we all know that we undergo some licensing every year and registration. So you can mention here, pharmacy or pharmacist, and registered or licensed with Pharmacist Council of Nigeria. Put the license number, your registration number, license number. This is very, very important if you are sending your CV, because it will really stand out among other ones that they applied. Put it. Pharmacist, if you're MDC, if you're a medical doctor, MDCN, your MDCN number, your license number, put it here. And if you have any certification, like you did computer certification, you put it here. You are certified this, certified this. You mention it here. Then there's another one that is professional association. This is some organization internationally, they are really serious about this. They want to know how influential you are in your profession. So what they do normally is you mention the professional organization you belong. I don't suggest to mention very local organizations, like maybe you mention one local organization in your community that nobody knows. Even in your locality, people will be asking. If you have any national and international organization, put it. Yes, just mention it. Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, member, active member, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, active member, FIP, all those big. If I normally put the bigger organization, but if you are like a pharmacy, put the professional organization, the international one, that the reader outside the country knows. If the what you are seeking is in a particular area like pharmacoepidemiology or epidemiology, right? And then International Society of Pharmacoepidemiologists, write it, a member. So just to show how influential you are. You are not just like a local champion. Then skills and interest. This is where you can pop in your unique skills, like your computer literacy skills, you know, computer or time management skill, organizational skills, and there are some key skills that you definitely need to mention there. Time management, organizational skills, computer, because we are in computer age now. You need to mention your and you don't have to just to computer skills, time management skills. That is how you can mention. You can say ability to meet up with deadlines. You can put time management skill, semicolon, ability to meet up with deadlines, you know, something like that. Or computer skills. Okay, you have very expert, you have an expert in Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word, such as Microsoft Words, Excel, blah blah blah. If you are good in multi-skill analysis, write it. Multi-skill software such as Starter, R, SPSS, something related to IT. And then there's what you call more information about me. More information about me is what we always write, like hobby. Hobby is very common. And if you can see all the list of what I mentioned before, they are something that are not what we normally or we usually see in a particular CV or in the ordinary CV. You have to coin a word that means the sentence, but give you like an age about other or from other applicants. So you can't just say hobby or not what. So we were advised to write to make it more, you know, more packaging, more information about it. So this is why you can put like puzzle, and you cannot just write puzzle. Why do you like puzzle? Why do you like football? Okay, I like soccer. Why? I play soccer. Okay, I like puzzle in order to improve my creative skills. You know, I did an extra mile. Okay, I play football. Why? In order to improve my well-being, to think well. Like something, okay, I like to play anything. Why? In order to interact, to improve my social interaction. So something like it, if you put something, you need to just put some few words. Why? It gives an edge to other guys applying the same post. And then referee, like I said, referee is optional. I hardly write referee in my CV. It depends the employer. Once they ask you, or if they need referee from you, they'll ask you. And once they ask you, just be sure that you have gotten the job. But nobody's stop you from mentioning a referee in your CV. But if you are mentioning a referee in your CV, please, if you know anybody who is internationally known in your field, maybe in another country, it puts some level of packaging. I'm not saying you shouldn't put, or I'm not sorry, permit me, I'm not saying you don't put any, but we have to face the reality. So like me, I'll just put Abubakar Shaban, you know, or Kabiru Gulma, you know, senior or associate professor, India, you know, UK, blah, 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 US, Malaysia, you know, at least I'm from Nigeria. If I was submitting 3 CVs, the first one should be someone outside the country. From Egypt. Egypt, you know, Monash University, Australia. Then the second one, it could be my supervisor or anybody from my institution. Then Nigeria can follow in. But that first one, let's be something big, like, because once they see, like, okay, this guy is connected. So I think this is about referee, but like I said, it's not a necessary aspect of a CV. And then there is another one that which I picked, which it's not very common, but it is highly recommended. And if you use it, I'm very sure it will really package your CV. And that is that's what you call a quote from an expert in the field. This is something new, but we were taught in the training we attended. And when I browse, I see so many things, people using it. So I picked this one from my CV just to show an example. So what we normally do here is you need to tell the reader or the recruiter that, okay, this is how internationally recognized guys in my field describe me. This is not me. This is what they say about me. So like me, this is what Professor Ami Awesu brought. And what he said, I attest that Dr. Abubakar is an internationally recognized scientific researcher with extraordinary abilities in the development of highly specialized pharmaceutical research paradigm, in part due to his original scientific and scholarly contribution in his field of academic endeavor. And I put his name, his address, his email address in case if the recruiter wants to contact him to confirm about, and I put the dates he writes. And the way you can get this, you normally get it from a recommendation letter. Assuming if you are applying for a particular job, in most cases you need a recommendation letter. Or sometimes you can just request a recommendation letter from your boss or from an expert, and he can write whom it may concern. Like you can use it at anywhere. And I'm very sure if you read through lines on that letter, there's a place or there's a sentence he really says something about you. Dr. Shaban is very intelligent researcher. Dr. Kabiru Gulma is, you understand, that line, pick it, paste it in your CV at tail end. It will give the reader or the recruiter assurance that, this guy is big boy. Like this guy really is, what he's saying in the CV has been validated by someone in his field. So this is something, it is not very common, and it's not usually used, but it is heavy in your CV. And I will really emphasize or suggest that you put some few lines in your CV mentioning this. And like I said, you can request a letter from anyone, not even when you're looking for a job. Like me, when there's a project I handled while I was in Nigeria. That's the last project I did. I lived in Nigeria before coming here. And it's a project for PCN collaborated with Management Sciences for Health. Is a project, we call it Launch DSI, and it's a project to focus about how to tear or how to improve the drug distribution in Nigeria through patent medicine vendors. So I was the first guy to coordinate the project in Nigeria. And at the end, though the project has not finished, but I have to come to Australia for my PhD. And what I did is I just request the MSH office to give me a recommendation letter for the job I did for them, for my assignment I did, because I'm sure I did something well, and they're always saying that I did something well. So let them write it. They mention it does Beverly. Let them write it. So I request through my registrar, PCN, and they wrote a very nice letter with all those, emergency science for health with the US logo, that US thing, it added something. So, and I have that letter with me. So anywhere, and I pick where that is something they mention about me, and I picked it, and anywhere I'm applying for a job that's relevant to management, I normally use that code, and I put the address of them and the contact. And that letter, even if there is not required in my application process, I normally write it additional information. I submit it. And it has been paying, to be honest. So this is optional, but it's something that I really encourage you to write it in your CV. So as we all talking about CV. Okay, now we define what CV is. We went through and see the different type of CV, how to structure your CV. And now when you have your CV written, please, there's something that I don't want you to do it, or we don't want, or generally it's not, or we encourage you to do. Number one is when you finish writing your CV, please give someone to proofread it. Ask somebody to read it, to go through it and see what you write is correct, or if there's anywhere to improve. And like in any time or anywhere in our own life processes, we normally identify like a buddy, which is a close friend that we think together that anything you want to do, you have to consult him. So if you don't have that person in your life, please go and look for him. Get him so that anywhere you are going, seek for his advice. If you write something, send him to read for him. I have it. I have many, but the one that he always there with me, whether he's sleeping, I can wake him up to attend to me, is Abubakar Shaban. Anytime I write a CV, Shaban, take a look. And he'll go through, no, this grammar doesn't make sense. No, can we write this? Can we adjust this? You know, they said this. Why can't we do this? Remember, you are skilled about this. Can we put it here? You know, I'll come back quickly, write it and proofread it. No, this is supposed to be a comma, because once the reader see any typos, typography, he knows this guy doesn't make sense. He maybe somebody wrote the CV for him. So I'm just using this as example to portray, like, you really need to have somebody to proofread your CV before you send it. Look at this, my guy. You know, his interview is just in 10 minutes, and he has already submitted the CV about the enter for the interview, and what's written is just instead of curriculum vitae, it's just curriculum vitamin. So if I'm the recruiter and the first time I read this, I'm very sure that you are not just a serious man. Now, in the first place, I will not even invite you for the interview. So that is it. Please proofread before you send that document. And then next is, if this is applicable for our brothers who are here, I mean, who are maybe working, but it's applicable everywhere. So the CV, the job you are applying, just make sure that what you are writing tally with that job you are applying for. And there are some jobs here, like maybe in Australia or in advanced countries. The job, it brings money, but what they want, the person they want for that particular job is for people with maybe who finish just first degree or master's degree. And maybe you have PhD and you really need that money. You understand? Maybe you have there are some things that you have some checklists. I need money at this year. Next year I can do this. So if you have a degree in PhD, take it aside, take it out from your PhD, put the master's degree. Because once they see that PhD, maybe the guy employing you, he has just a vocational training certificate. So you'll be a threat to him. You can kick him out. So that is another trick. So the job you are applying, check the requirement they want. They normally put eligibility. So if they are looking for a master's, and in Nigeria, it could be a different ball game. But here, if you're maybe in outside the country, you can put the degree aside. Just like what is showing here, I didn't get the job. They said I was overqualified. They are looking for somebody with a B farm and you went with your PhD. Definitely you're overqualified. So that is it. These are another don't. So another thing to avoid is, please, it happened to me and it happened to my friends. Please do not copy and paste. Like, I know most of us, they will say, okay, can I please see your CV and see how you write it? The trick is you give them the CV. To be honest, when they went, they'll just change name and change the little things and just copy everything and paste it. They don't care whether the training they attended or not. They just paste it. And it is very painful. It happened to me. I gave some people my CV. And to be honest, and unknowingly to them, they send the CV back to me to take a look and see if it's okay. Maybe to them, they think it's something good. And it's just my CV, like a replica. They just changing some things specific to them. And I was like, so assuming if I apply for another position in that university and it followed the same process, for life, they be thinking, okay, me, I copy from him, or him, will copy from me. And the two of us definitely will lose the job. So please don't copy. You can use as a guide. Okay, he said this is how he writes his education. I'll write this, how he used to write this. Let me write it. Just use the style. But just like this, CV, Control V. We all know what Control V means paste. So another scenario is like this. You went for the interview, that's just what I said. And you now see if the CV is for the person you last interview is exactly the same as my CV, then we must have got it off the same website. Or you just go to the Google CV samples. You just download it and went and changed your name and put it. Boom. So another trouble or problem with this is, in most time, if you are sending a CV outside the country, mostly in advanced countries, they use a software. So assume if you have like thousands of applications or hundreds, you can't imagine someone in academia with a very, very time constraint to go page by page to select your CV. No, what we do here, or what most places do here, they use a software. So 100 CV, they will not look, there is no any manual interaction, there's no human interaction. They'll just upload all the CV into that software. And that software, there's some things that it looks for. So if you have all this copy from the website and paste it, it might not pick you. And there are some little things that it picked. It picks some of the keywords that they are looking for from the person they are looking for. So it will pick all those keywords. It pick the format. I will say it. I did not mention it. Sorry. So when you are putting your CV as well, avoid putting your portals, because that software is not formatted to identify or to pick a portal on your CV. So we are discouraged to stop using portal, to stop using multicolored, or to be extending the margin. We know the margin for the paper, and some people, in order to constrain the CV, they increase the margin, or they use a particular style to make it look fancy, or to maybe to use different color. So our advice, just make it simple. Make it simple. Use the common font style we use, like Arial, Calibri, all those simple ones. Use black and white, and then don't use Portal. So in summary, and this is the end of my webinar, but in summary, what we discussed in this webinar is a CV. What is a CV? A CV is a summary of your career and education development. We mentioned different types of CV, and we also mentioned that a CV is just like a marketing tool to communicate your educational or your scientific contribution or what you did throughout your career to a recruiter, somebody who is employing you or somebody who is giving you a particular position. And we now went through the different aspects or the different structure of the CV, section of the CV, where we mentioned important sections like contact information, education, work experience, research, and many other ones that we always mention. Then at the end, we now wrap it off by mentioning what you are not to put, or what you do not allow to do while doing your CV. The most worst part is copy and paste, not proofreading, and then trying to make it too fancy, adding colors, your portals, just make it simple. At the end of this webinar, I will share, or we are going to share a template that it will help you, it will guide you in formatting your CV, the words to use, the steps, and none of them is compulsory section that you must include, but that first 5 that we'll mention: contact information, education. Other ones that you don't have, publication, you don't have to mention it. Anything that you don't have, don't lie, because they'll call you for interview to ask you. So you don't have to lie. You have to be honest in your CV. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much, sir. That's a wonderfully presented lecture, very engaging, very practical. I have seen many hands up already, so maybe we will go through the list and call them one by one. But before we do that, please, you can use your emoji feature to give a round of applause for the presenter. In fact, he has done wonderfully, wonderfully articulated lecture, actually. You cannot have it better than this. He has given us both the marketing side and then the professional side of writing a CV to give the best image of ourselves. So I think that you're doing us great, because as far as we're alive, I know we must seek for a job, we must seek for one thing or another that requires CV. So thank you very much, sir. So if you permit me, the presenter, I will start calling those that have their hands raised already. I will start with the first one, Abubakar Yusuf, right? So please, can you go on, Abubakar Yusuf? Abubakar Yusuf, can you go on? You can unmute. You are still muted, Abubakar Yusuf Ado. Okay. In case maybe he may not be listening, I will now call on Awal Suleiman to ask his question. Awal Suleiman, we can't hear you. You are still muted. Awal Suleiman, you are muted. Okay, we can't keep wasting time. Let's move on to Mudassir Babali. Sorry, Mudassir Obali. Apologies for that.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Go on with your question.
Okay. Yeah, my question is regarding to undergraduate fresh CV. Undergraduate fresh CV. Like, can you put your CGPA in your CV?
Can you put what?
Your CGPA.
Like, can you include your CGPA inside your CV?
Okay. Okay. Maybe let me be taking the questions.
Okay. So you prefer to answer them one by one, or you prefer to, you know?
Okay. Let me answer. Okay. Let me answer them one by one. Yeah. Okay. So it's optional if the, what do you call it, if the recruiter or the institution asks you to mention, like it's a part of requirement, you need to put your CGPA, then you can. But to be honest, you don't have to put your CGPA in your CV. Hello?
So Mudassir, is that fine?
Hello? I think he's, yeah. So you don't have to put your CGPA in your CV. Yeah, but if the recruiter asks you, like, you need to mention it in your CGPA, then you can go ahead. Mostly those CGPA and audio, they may ask you to submit your what do you call this one from the university, your transcript. That's what you really show your CGPA and all your academic academic history, what you did in the university. But for this, just mention name of the institution, the duration of the education, and the name of the degree. Thank you so much. Next question.
Okay, I will now call on Hamisu Hassan to ask his question. Hamisu Hassan, can you unmute and go on?
Okay, thank you very much. My own is no question. It's just to greet my great guy. Honestly, I've been in the office since 9 a.m. So I just look at PSN, WhatsApp. So I saw, I say, my man is presented. Let me check to join. To be honest, yes, I'm so grateful to hear this. Dr. Jatau, you are doing excellently well, and this is mentoring that we should not play with. And for me, I'm jealous because I'm not a tough academic guy. Why do you choose to gather people like Kabiru Gulma and others that are so tough academically? You need to be going down to pick average people like us.
But don't forget that you mentored us to become what we are today. So you are tough.
Yes, I'll tell them who you are.
I'm really grateful. Yes, so I'm so proud of you. Please, I always have that pain. Pharmacists should come out. Look at me. I'm not working for anybody. I'm working for myself. It is Saturday. I'm still in my office, trying to be useful to my life. Because my clients, there is no way I can cope if I don't stand to meet up with their requirements. And all he was saying is how you will package your CV for whoever is engaging you to be confident that this is what he needs. And there was something he made, that academic statement by another guy of mine also. It's a very good thing to be quoting. In my own case, in my CV, I normally have appraisal statements. I normally call them appraisal statements. When I go through appraisal in annual evaluation, sometimes I pick what my supervisor would say about me and I document it and I make sure I exploit it when I want to blow my own trumpet. Because if I don't do it, nobody will blow it for you. Thank you very much, Dr. Jatau. I'm personally grateful for this session. Dr. Kabiru is also one of you. I'm close to Kabiru because we're in the same industry, and I don't know whether he has switched to another academics. So, Kabiru, are you still in my industry, or you have switched on to another academic?
Sir, I have switched my legs into two.
I know you. I know. So I wish
One
you
is
all
there
the best.
and one
Thank
is
you very
there.
much for all the guys that are here. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you very much, sir. We didn't
Just let you know before Grover make his comment is I'm very glad. I'm very encouraged for Sir to be part of this webinar. It is very, very encouraging. And I'm very sure not all of us know who this person is. For this person to have his time to listen to and attend to our webinar, it is something very, very great. And he's the person that he has been encouraging me and motivating me to continue moving to the path I am now. And to be honest, my first contact with him, I was so impressed because like the way he said, he is working for himself. And if I can put his CV here, to be honest, I don't know. I learned so many things from him because before my first interaction with him, he just sent me his CV without asking. And what I saw in the CV, in fact, I put is part of this webinar. And that thing that I put, that signature, his signature is on his CV. And he made one very legal, I can call that is a legal statement. And he said the content of this CV, as of this, I can't vividly bring it out, but it's like some few sentences about the information in the CV. And then he signed just to add credibility to the CV. And as you see here, Oga, he has been a consultant to United Nations, to WHO, to so many big organizations. And in fact, if you had to say something about him, it's another presentation. So thank you so much, sir. And we are really happy for you to be part of this webinar.
Thank you. So permit me to leave the meeting now, please.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can go ahead. I'll share you the recordings. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Sir, we're sorry, we didn't even know that. Yes, sir. Sir, sorry. Okay, he has left. We didn't even know that he is around. Okay, sir. So, yeah. So it is to say sorry that we didn't even know that you're around to acknowledge your presence at the beginning of the presentation. We're so sorry about that, sir. And very nice to have you here.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah,
thank you, sir, and have a great day. So we'll move to the next person on the queue, who is Awal Basiru. Please, can you unmute and go on? Is Awal Basiru with us here?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Good afternoon, sirs.
Yeah, good afternoon. You can go on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for Mr. Dr. Ibrahim Jatau for your wonderful presentation. So, I'm one of the member in this particular platform. So, my own is not a question, but a word of remark to the presenter. And I would like to ask the presenter that maybe if there is more time, maybe next time let him fix another time and date so that we will be benefiting from such wonderful presentation, please. Sir, thank you for your effort and performance as well.
Okay, so Gulma, it's up to you.
Yes, sir. So thank you very much, Awal Basiru. He has actually been sharing with us his vast knowledge and experience time to time. So maybe this is the first time that you're hearing about this. He has been doing that actually regularly from the inception of this organization till date, now 6 years on now. So, and I know inshallah he will continue because he has this zeal to bring people together and will share knowledge and experience. So I just hope that you will continue to get invites and to know when these lectures are actually happening. So can I move to the next person? Obaidullah Idris, is he here with us? We just have 3 persons left on the queue. Obaidullah Idris, can you unmute?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yeah, well, good afternoon, sirs.
Good
So
afternoon.
I'm nice. It's very nice for me to be in this wonderful presentation. And we really appreciate this nice, wonderful, and educative presentation from our Dr. Ibrahim Jatau. So we really appreciate. And my prayer is in the future, we need more of such presentations, even so there are so many presentations maybe before. Only that this one is different from others presentation because this one is all encompassing, whether you are in the academy, maybe, or you are in the other healthcare facility or whatever facility. Even if you are not in a healthcare facility, actually there are so many things you can benefit from this presentation. So may Allah reward you abundantly, and we need more of this presentation. I have one question or concern, I don't know, like maybe in an advertisement, either for job or any other thing, there are two things you see. One is at times they will ask you to send your CV, and the other one, maybe in another sense, they will ask you to send a cover letter. So I just want the idea I just have in my head is that there are two different things actually. Maybe the cover letter will not be bulky than the CV, but actually I don't know what should be the content of the cover letter. So I just need a little explanation on the difference between the two. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So the facilitator, over to you, sir.
Yes, so yes, it's true. So in most cases, some recruiters or organization, they'll ask you first, it's like here in Australia, it's like common. Most jobs, they'll ask you for these two. Number one, they'll ask you for CV, which is separate. Then a cover letter. A cover letter, CV is just like to list out who you are, like to list out what do you call it, your educational job experience, just like the way we did. But a cover letter is more like, as the name said, a letter, like it's a flow, is like writing. So that cover letter, it's up to, like maybe when they're advertising for a particular program, they will now say, okay, we need someone, a candidate must have a PhD or must have a degree in medical lab scientist. That candidate must have a second class upper. That, you understand, that candidate should have a register with Medical Laboratory Science Board of Nigeria. That guy must be like a time planner or a team player or something. So what you are supposed to write in that cover letter, you need to match your experience or what your education with that criteria they are saying. Okay, they said they needed a graduate from medical lab scientist. You can now say, okay, I've graduated from, I'm a PhD, medical lab scientist graduate from University of Nigeria in Nsukka. I graduated from this year to this year. You can even write a little. You can now say it, you are at the end, your research project centered on like detecting E. coli or something like how to, something new or something that you did in your research project. Or you can mention by something special that you did in that your degree program. You mention it in one line. Maybe you can say, during my career, I was second best overall student in my class. You know, something like that. Or I represented my department in so competition. Something like that. Something key, something very important in that you are drawing that your educational year that they mentioned that you want. Or they now said, okay, you must be registered with something Council of Medical. Okay, I'm a registered, because registration and license, they are different. You must register first before you get license. So you can say, I'm a registered, you cannot put the registration number, and licensed to practice as medical lab scientist in Nigeria. You know, one sentence, you have mentioned that you have, to now continue, anything they mention, maybe when they say you need to be good organizational skill. Yes, you can now say, yeah, I have a very good organizational skills obtained through training and experience during my internship at Gusau Federal Medical Center. I'm able to organize my time to pay priority to deadlines, to meet up with deadlines. Something to tell them that you can, or I have finished my undergrad school in 4 recommended years to demonstrate my ability to manage time or to organize myself. Just to demonstrate what you did to tally with what they ask you. So that's a cover letter. So a cover letter and must also tally with your CV. What you are saying in your CV must fix in your cover letter. So in summary, you write cover letter based on what the organization requires from the candidate they are looking for. It's not just like you have a cover letter for all your position you're applying. And don't forget, when you finish writing your cover letter, ask somebody to read it for you, because you may have some things that you do not include, or because cover letter should be like error 0. It shouldn't have typographical error. Yes, we are not English speaking, but let's say minimal grammatical errors. But for typo errors, all those, instead of putting comma, you put full stop, or you put the whole paragraph up to one sentence, no comma in between. Like a very good writing, the cover letter. I think we should create another webinar on cover letter. Thank you so much. I hope you are fully understood. Have I answered your question? Sorry.
Yes, thank you very much. It has been
right.
fully answered. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. So we move to the next person on the queue, Nasir Aminu. Please, can you unmute and ask your question?
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, sirs. Thank you, doctor, for this presentation, and thank you for all what you have been doing. I have a question. I want to know if it is possible to like add some other things to your academic CV. Like, for example, if one has been into an aspect of pharmacy, for example, and then has switched side to maybe academics recently, and then maybe he have just few or little experience or little things to put in the academics. Can he put other things, like maybe he has been in hospital or community pharmacy? That's number one. And then number two, the question is regarding like recommendation letters. Actually, I have this thing in mind that for you to request a recommendation letter from someone, you must like have been with him or he have known you. So like for example, him being your lecturer or someone that knows you personally. So can one request a recommendation letter from someone like that is not like more of like related to him, or in one way or another, in one way or another, being in contact with? Thank you.
Okay, yes. So to answer your first question is, I think that is something, a very important thing I missed during the presentation. It's like you don't have okay, you must not have, or you are not to have a one CV for everything. So how we do in CV is, number one, you have a master copy of a CV, like a master CV, the master document. This is a document that you have everything of yours. It's just like the stock solution. Sorry for those who are not in pharmacy or in chemistry. So you need to have like a stock solution, like the storage. So you have a document called a CV for you. I normally label my own main document. This is why I put everything. If I have some achievement today, I quickly go to that CV and put it. You know, so you have that ongoing CV as it is, as like a bulk product. So whenever you are applying for a particular position, whenever you're applying for a particular maybe a position, so you go back to that CV, you bring it. Then you now go back to, okay, these guys, what do they want? So you now to create another CV from that master CV. I hope you are getting it. Assuming you that you are saying you have your pharmacy practice experience, and you want to apply for a particular academic position, or you're in academia and you want to apply something in management blend with public health, something like that. So, or even in the academia, there are some position outside consultancy or something. Like me, I'm not work. I don't work in the academia. I'm not working with any in the university. I work with government. Like I'm working in public health service. So, but what I have is I have a CV, like a master CV. So any position I'm applying, I'll now go back to that CV and pick information that they are relevant to that position. I'll just create another CV from that master copy CV with the same format, with the same tone, with the same language, but I don't need that. There's some information that they are not relevant in that. So I'll pick the one information that are relevant, and every position I applied, I send a different CV that would tally with what they are asking in that position, in the requirement they are asking. Or I will just go through it and update. And if I'm lazy, I'll just pick another one. I'll just remove the one that they don't need. I'll add the one that they need, and I submit it. So to answer your question now, since you don't have the academic experience, yes, you can go ahead, but you have to write them nicely with some language that will tally with what they are asking. Like if they are looking for a lecturer in academic, in pharmacy, if you're applying for pharmacy, yes, you can write all your pharmacy experience. Then you can now say you can bring your vast skills or practice, or your vast skills you acquire through your pharmaceutical practices to the teaching. I mean, if they have two people, one is just the academic, you have the pharmacy experience. If you join the academia, I think you perform better than the one who has just the academic knowledge, because if you are teaching the student, you have to be putting it in your own shoe. Like when I was in Pfizer, when I was in the hospital, this is how we dispense this. Or there's a time when we have this, the dose was too high because of body size, you will reduce it. You are giving the example. It is so when you coin that in your CV as description or in your cover letter, I think it's fine. Like me, like I told you, I'm not in the academia. I did so many management courses online. I did my pharmacy. I worked with PCM before coming, so I have my pharmacy management experience. I have my academic experience while I'm doing PhD, masters, and I have my research experience. So any job I apply, I pick the information that is relevant to that information, and I package the CV and push it. And to be honest, most of the outcome are very, very successful. So that is the first part of the question. The second part, what was this? Sorry, I think I missed it. What was the second part?
Or recommendation letter.
Okay, yes. So for recommendation letter, ideally, like you said, it's ideally you need to request it from a supervisor or the one you work under him, maybe a HOD. That is the ideal. But to be honest, you need somebody who will write nicely and who is conversant with writing this recommendation letter. So if I were you, that is the main reason why you need a mentor in your career. If you don't have a mentor, go and look for it. Go and look for him or for her. You need a mentor. A mentor is someone that, okay, if you want to apply for a scholarship, you ask him, okay, there's this scholarship, what do you think? Okay, this is the letter I am preparing, what do you think? So that your mentor will be the one to be guiding you. Okay, I have mentors, and at any point in time, I reach out to them. And those guys, they always there for me. So that guy, they are not your teachers, you don't work under them, but at least they know you. They know who you are, and from the interaction you have with them. And like I have one mentor, I have never seen him. And up to now, we have never seen each other. And I don't think we can spend 1 week without contacting, just to say hello. Or if there's any opportunity, you help me, okay, this is what you have. Oh, okay, I'm looking for this. Can you help me with this? And we had so many research together with him. and he's always happy to recommend. So if you don't have one, please get a mentor. A mentor could be anyone in your profession. That's the one we want. So if there's anything, you can ask him. So some mentors, because they are very busy, he'll ask you what do they want? Like you understand what's the position, what they want. So he can there and then write the template and give you. So to answer your question, yes, the person who will recommend your letter must not be the person you're working under him or your supervisor from the university. Rather, it could be a mentor that you know that can always is happy to. But if you don't know anyone, it's very unlikely that you just ask him to write a recommendation letter because he doesn't know you or he doesn't know you very well. But if you know somebody who know him, you understand, like maybe Kabiru Gulma, I don't know Kabiru Gulma very well, but I know Shaban, or I know Awolubala. I can ask Awolubala, please, I want Gulma to give me a recommendation letter. I'm applying for a job in his organization or in an organization related to him or in his field. Can you please talk to him to write this for me? It happened. There's some professors there's some professor in another university, and some of my friends want to apply for that university, and I asked that guy to give them recommendation. So because of that relationship, then they got that recommendation. So this is how we got recommendation letter. And you can also request from your organization, like if you're working with an international organization, I would really, really encourage you to ask for a recommendation letter. Or in that case, we don't call it recommendation, we call it commendation letter. Or if you're working with these pharmaceutical companies or any organization that is internationally recognized, that you did some job with them, just ask for them, please, I need a commendation letter. And if you are requesting, make it in writing. Write an email, write to whoever he's giving. Can say, please, based on my duty, please, I need a commendation letter, So that's it. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right.
So thank you very much for answering all questions. So we have just one last hand on the queue. So let's just call the person, and after the person, we will call on Dr. Shaban to give us a closing remarks, and then we wrap it up, sir. So can I invite Abalawan to please ask his question or make his remarks?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon to you all.
Yeah, we are listening.
Okay, it really makes me happy to be with you here. Thank you for sharing knowledge for us free of charge. Thank you so much, sir. And my question is, sir, hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello. Okay, my question, sir. Okay, if you are working with an institution and you want to apply another job to another institution, can you write in your CV that you are an employer in social institution?
Yes, sure, you can. It's allowed because you need to put your present job. You can now say working in this job from the date you started. You now write to date.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you are writing. You are starting work from social date to date.
Yes, to date. Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Here's my question to you. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Jatau. I just pray you don't have to take a Panadol extra today because you have spoken so much.
No worries, no worries.
Yes, after the lecture, you took the time to answer all questions and in great detail. So you're highly appreciated in all possible ways. May Allah reward you abundantly. So permit me to invite Dr. Abubakar Sha'ban, our ambassador, to give us a closing remark. Sir, please, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Kabiru Gulma, for giving me the opportunity. And thank you for the wonderful and professional moderation of the session. Thank you, Dr. Ibrahim Jatau, for facilitating this session and really inspiring people on how to package themselves. Or if I put it another way, as professionals, as pharmacists, that maybe produce products. So this one, we are the products ourselves, the humans, the people that you are looking for anything, either work, job, anything. So you have to package yourself properly to be aesthetically appealing to the person that wants to, is buying the product, in this instance, giving you the job. Yeah. So that's really, it's a very wonderful, thank you, wonderful session. And then I will want to apologize for the initial technical challenges, experienced by some people. And the delay in starting, I know most people couldn't join early, so that's why we had to give time so that people will join. And because it's the most important thing, this is for everyone to benefit. And alhamdulillah, it was very, very interactive. So thank you for active participation in today's webinar on the guide to writing an academic CV. We hope the insights shared will prove invaluable as you navigate the academic and professional spheres in your life. Remember, a well-crafted academic CV is a powerful tool in showcasing your achievements. So make sure you do it properly and make sure you give that second person to have a second look. You may have an oversight. You may, not see something that is very important that may be the key that will have lead you to getting that particular job you are eyeing. And best of luck in all your future endeavors. And as a reminder, you always watch out because we have similar activities going on fortnightly. So you just watch out and see of similar or other well and engaging forum like this webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone,
Thank you very much, Dr.
for your time to listen to us. Yeah. All right. And I think that's all. The moderator.
So if you have any question or you want to reach out from Scholars Initiative at thank you very much, everyone, and bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We thank you, sir.